Hi, welcome to Purple Scarlet Topaz, hashtag find the answer to cancer. I hope everyone is doing well today and blessings to you all. Now, it's the month of May, and the month of May happens to be Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, and so I just hope everyone is aware. I'm aware. Most of us are aware. Okay, and what I wanted to say, it's really good to see people. It's good to see many of the celebrities coming out and telling their stories, sharing their experience with depression and giving words of inspiration and encouragement to people, and that's a beautiful thing, okay? And on that note, I don't like to use the term celebrity. I don't know, I rather use the term a person of influence, okay? And I also want us to remember that these celebrities or people of influence are just people, okay? Which means that they go through things as well, okay? Like they're telling you, look, I suffer from depression. This is what I've gone through, and just know you can get through it and things like that. And so we want to remember that as well, especially because really the only way that we interact or send them whatever message or whatever is on social media. Okay, so we want to be mindful of the things that we say to people, that we're posting in our comments. If you don't like them or whatever, guess what? Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. That's all you got to do. Okay, but let's be mindful that we're dealing with real people and they have real feelings as well. Okay, and that's for everyone. That's for everyone. Okay, now what I want to say about mental health awareness, mental illness, well, I guess when we look at the concern, a lot of the concern around mental illness has to do with, one, getting people with mental health and mental health crisis the help that they need. But even more is, how do we shatter the stigma? How do we shatter the stigma that is associated with mental illness, with mental health? How do we take off the cover, the veil, the smoke screen that surrounds the concern of mental illness, mental health? How do we do that? That's what we really need to do. And even though, yes, it's nice to hear influential people of influence trying to give their words of encouragement and inspiration and all of that, but what I see is that we need more, okay? We need to hear it from someone else, okay? And I feel that let me see, the American, I don't care what country it's in, the American, the British, the Australian, the African, the Netherlands, whoever, the international or American Confederation of Psychiatry and Psychology and Mental Health organization. They're the ones that we need to hear from. Why do I say that? Because basically, because we got to look at, well, how do we get to this? How did we get to this stigma? What created this stigma? Okay? And in order to get through and to shatter this stigma, we first have to understand how we got to the stigma in the first place. Okay? Now, if you look up the history of, even in America, how they treated people that had mental illness or that had mental health issues, it's scary. Okay? There was a time where they were giving people lobotomies. I think it's called a lobotomy. Where they're basically drilling a hole in the person's brain, in the person's skull, and all of that. All of those things. And then, they had asylums. They called them asylums, where these people practically spent the rest of their life. And even if they didn't, and they were able to go home, they were worse off than when they went in there. Okay? And so then I guess they realized that these lobotomies or whatever that they were doing on people's heads was barbaric. Okay? And so they never cleared that up. Okay? We need to hear from the institution or the system that created the stigma. Okay, we didn't create it, they did. So that's what we need to do. Now, I also think that if you gave me about $10 million, I could get some stuff done. Okay? Now, because I believe when we're dealing with someone with mental illness or they're having a mental health crisis, what the guidance that we're given as people is, okay, there is a suicide hotline, right? They can call the suicide hotline. Okay? But now let's talk about the ones that are not going to call the suicide hotline. Okay? Well, they're not feeling suicidal, but they're having some type of mental health crisis. And so what they do, the guidance is that they tell us what to look for. They tell us, what do they tell us? They tell us to look for the symptoms, whether they're withdrawn, different things. Okay, the different symptoms that they tell us to look for. Okay, so we look for them, we see them, but then what? Now, if it's a child, I can scoop my child up and run to the doctor. Okay? I can do that if they're under 18. But once they turn 18, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing. And that needs to change. Okay? So, I believe some of the restrictions, I believe sort of like if a child, because see, if I say, wow, my child, they're over a certain age, they're 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, whatever, they're in my house or whatever, and I see that they're having a problem, I can't call the doctor and make an appointment. Yes, I'd like to make an appointment. I have a family member that seems to be having a mental health crisis. Oh, well, how old is your child? How old is your family member? Well, my family member is 18 years old. Oh, no, ma'am. Well, they're going to have to call and make their own appointment. Really now? Okay, so then what? Okay, so that's a problem. Okay, I feel that the restrictions or the red tape on that needs to change. And I would say, something that would be practical is that if you have a family member or anyone in your house and you see whatever that they could possibly be having a mental health crisis, you should be able to speak on behalf of that person. Okay, that's one thing that I think can be done differently. Even if they're 18, 20, 30, but you're in my house, then I should be able to sort of speak for that person. I don't know. That's sort of what I think. I mean, I understand why it's not. People can abuse that stuff because some people are very mean and hateful. No telling what they'll do to you. Okay? So I understand, but still, on the other hand, okay, I mean, we got to get through that. Okay? But, so, okay, let's say that's okay. We can't do that. Okay, so I say, if you gave me $10 million, I would set up a program, okay, and for the health hospitals, whoever that have the funds to do it. Okay, you might not need $10 million, okay, but look, I believe that across America, okay, I would set up, of course I'd have my headquarters, okay, but I would set up a thing. I would get my team together and I would have offices in different cities, and I would have people in the mental health field that would make house calls. Okay, that would make house calls, because a lot of times if a person is having a mental health crisis and you say and you see, okay, and you follow the guidance, okay, they say, oh, to watch for this and watch for that, okay, but if that person, first of all, they're already in a mental health crisis, okay, they're not going to go to the doctor, they're not going to make the appointment that they have to make, it's not going to happen. Okay, you're stuck between a rock and a hard spot, and so are they. Okay, you're stuck in between a rock and a hard spot because you say, oh, I see the symptoms. Look, and you can't do anything really except try to talk to them, but they need more. Okay, maybe they don't want to talk to you. And then as far as getting the help, if they're over a certain age, they're not going to do it. So, and they're stuck because they need the help. Okay, so I would say we need a mental health organization that is set up throughout the country that can actually go in, that a person can call. Let's say if it's not the person, or it could be the person, or someone in their family, or someone in their household, and they could make a call, and they can say, let you know what's happening, what's going on, and based on the information, someone could actually go to the house, like to make house calls. Okay, make some house calls. Psychiatrist or a psychotherapist, psychologist, whatever it is. Okay, so that's what I think that needs to be done. Okay, so if anyone hears me, okay, if you hear me and you have $10 million, if you could do, you don't have to give it to me. Nope. You can do it yourself. Okay, I don't care who does it. Okay, I'm just saying, I can do it. But I would need about $10 million to get it done. Okay, that's just plain and simple. That's what I would need about $10 million to get this thing going. But if you can do it, if you don't have to give me the $10 million, you can do it. Someone out there can do it. Okay, someone out there can do it. Okay, because we don't have to be this way. Do you know how many people have degrees or went to school and have their psychology degree that can understand, and then it's not just in psychology. You have other people that have skills in other areas as well, that their skill would fit into helping people with in a mental health crisis. Okay, so there's a way. Okay, we don't have to have this backup. It's so hard to get mental health services, and it doesn't have to be so complicated. It doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be all the hold up. Somebody out there can create an organization or a company that can do this. Okay? They could, of course, have their headquarters wherever you want to have it. Okay? I don't know if it should be a non-profit or not. But a company, and they would employ people that have some type of skill that can work with people that are in a mental health crisis. Okay, and so instead of being on the phone, okay, then they would have the company set up so that you have people that can go and make house calls to try and talk to the person that's having the mental health crisis. Okay, so that's just my take. Okay, so if you're out there and you hear me, you can do it. Otherwise, you can give me the 10 million and I'll do it. Oh yeah. I'm laughing, but oh yes, I can. Okay, so we also want to be understanding of people if we do see that they're in a mental health crisis. Okay, because otherwise, how we react, or whatever, can be considered abuse. Okay. So anyway, let's see. Do I have anything else? And also, one way to help your mental health is to let it brush it off, baby. Brush it off. Okay? Brush it off. That's all you gotta do. I mean, that's one thing you can do. Deep breathing. Don't worry about having to react to things that are stressful. Instead, take your time and respond. Take time to take care of yourself. Okay? And know that whatever you're going through, whatever hardship you're feeling, whatever depression you're feeling down, know that that will pass. Okay? Do your best to eat right and to try to notice what bothers you or what triggers that. Sometimes we may have to look at what we're eating, because sometimes these things can have to do with mental or the imbalances of certain chemicals in our brains. And which also leads me to how or why we define mental illness as mental illness. Okay, because to me, the real mental illness are people that are mean, people that are evil, people that do bad things to other people. Those are the ones with the mental illness. They are the real mentally ill people. Okay, because really, some things are called mental illness when we look at schizophrenia, bipolar. Those things have to do with it has to do with a chemical imbalance in the brain. Okay, but diabetes has to do with a chemical imbalance. Okay, but and it can cause delusions. It can cause different things that are mental. But that's not a mental illness. It's physical. And so are a lot of things that have been diagnosed as mental illness. But anyway, okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again. Next time we're going to talk about elder abuse. Okay? So, talk to you soon. Take care.